Welcome to the Speak with People podcast, where we believe that healthy communication is the key to unlocking your leadership potential. We are the go-to resource for leaders looking to greatly improve their communication skills. Whether it's one-on-one interactions, team settings, public speaking, or your digital communication. By improving these skills, leaders can create stronger connections and drive positive change within their organization. Each and every episode, we sit down with leaders from various fields, just like you're grabbing a cup of coffee with them. We dive into real, practical conversations. Our goal is to help you transform your communication skills so you can lead more effectively, build stronger relationships, and make a lasting impact. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's learn together. Well, how can you monetize your video content? Many of us listening have been religiously posting. We post our podcast and we post our video thoughts and we put our clips up and we have Opus accounts or whatever real account we have. But how do we get to a place where we really see some monetization? And then really, how can you create some digital marketing systems and in the crazy world without even showing your face? How do you start to monetize all of your ideas, your content, and make a living off of it, support your family, support your business? Well, today we're diving into all these fascinating questions with an incredible leader that I had the privilege of meeting last month. And it was someone that my son and I have actually followed for a long time. And it just showed up that we were both at the same conference. And I am so excited that he said yes to be on the podcast. He is a pioneer. I mean, this is the crazy thing. He is way out in front teaching leaders all over the world how to monetize their video content, how to do systems. He's a CEO. He has an amazing social media following. I could blab on, but what I will say before I introduce him is he is literally one of the most humble and caring leaders that I think my son and I have ever met. You make kind of these preconceived thoughts about people as you see them online, and then you meet them in person. And we were absolutely blown away by this guest. So Austin Armstrong, welcome to the Speak with People podcast. Thank you so incredibly much for being here.
Jason, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to hire you as my new hype man. That was so great. I appreciate you, man.
I love it. I'll come out before your talks on stage and get them going.
Yeah.
It'll be fantastic. Well, hey, before we hop into, I know people are going to love this conversation. Tell us a little bit more about you. Give us a little bit of your story, who you are, what you do, what's got you to this place.
Yeah, so I am now a serial entrepreneur, I guess. I'm a content creator. I'm an international speaker. I have been doing social media marketing for 20 years as of October of this year.
Wow.
And not just having social media, actually growing followings, growing influence, and monetizing it. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've seen all of these platforms come and go. I've tested every strategy that you can possibly think of. I've grown a large personal brand myself. I've grown multiple successful companies off of that. And I just love what I do. I was very fortunate to find what my calling was early on in life. I mean, from 14 years old on MySpace, growing accounts and helping other people grow their. I've just kind of been doing it my whole life. It's been a blessing.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's kind of jump right to it for some leaders, because they're like, you know what? I tried to post for a week, a month, and nothing really ever happened.
Nope.
Walk us into kind of the mindset, a leader needs as they get ready to, create their brand, create their movement online. What are some of the habits that they need?
Well, so that's such an important thing, because consistency is the most important aspect, not just of growing social media, growing a personal brand online, but everything in life. If you want to do it, you have to commit to this. This is just a new thing that you do now. You can learn along the way. There will be failures and lessons along the way. You can pivot your content strategy. You can try different stuff out. I tried to make wooden bow ties work. That's not me though, but just be authentically you and stay consistent. It really wasn't until the last, I would say, 5 years that I had a lot of really great success with my own personal brand. 5, 6 years. Um, just like going to the gym, brushing your teeth, eating your meals, taking care of yourself, commit to it and stay consistent and try and make micro improvements along the way.
Mm.
Now, some other things that have worked for me mindset wise is you have to realize that in everyday life, nobody gives a crap about your social media presence. Nobody cares that you have millions of followers. Cool. Okay. They're worried about their own problems, right? So you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You will get fanatical fans online and people that scream from the rooftops about you and are excited to meet you and all of this stuff. But when it comes from within, a little healthy narcissism, when you're like, I put up this post today, I'm really proud of it. It got 10 likes, which is one more than it typically gets. That's a win. Good job, me. Be your own biggest cheerleader, celebrate every little win along the way. And that is what has prevented me
Mm.
from ever burning out over 20 years of doing this.
Wow. Wow. Boy, I love that. Okay. So talk to the leader who's sitting there going, it just, I don't know if I have the time. Will it really help me as a leader? Will it really help my job, my platform? Because I still run into those people, and I'm just like, what world are you living on? So I'd love your perspective and wisdom on this.
Yeah, I have two thoughts. I mean, first of all, if you are a leader, an expert in your field, you have something unique to say, you have an obligation to share that online because
Mm.
you have information and knowledge and expertise that will help people. One of the biggest things that I learned from doing this is that give your best information away for free, sell the implementation, sell the specifics of that content. But when you give incredible valuable information away for free, whatever that looks like for you, and you do that consistently, that's where know, like, and trust comes. And know, like,
Wow.
and trust are the most important things to growing online. You don't have the time, make the time, whatever that looks like for you. Wake up an hour earlier, stay up an hour late, take your lunch break, take one day a month on a weekend and batch create content and schedule it. I create content every day. That's what works for me. That doesn't work for everybody else. I've built my life and my businesses around my addiction to social media so that I
Wow.
constantly,
Okay.
yeah, if I'm being honest with myself.
Sure.
But your schedule. I read a great book this year. One of my favorites this year was "Buy Back Your Time" by Dan Martell, and one of the concepts in there is track your time, track your day for 2 weeks straight. Every single task that you do, outline like what was the start time, what was the end time, what was the productivity level. You can take that as advanced as you want, but I just started to just track all of my time. And then I started to outsource some of the things that I realized I
Mm.
don't need to be doing to free up more of your time. This is just something I've brought into my life, like rich dad, poor dad, like abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset. Like, there's so many things that you can do to create additional time for yourself. Like I could save $100 a month by mowing my giant lawn, but I gladly pay that. I pay somebody to do that every day because I have a huge lawn. It takes like an hour and a half to mow that lawn. That's 3 hours a month that I just saved. And I value my time more than what I pay that person to mow my lawn. So when you look at how your day is going and where you're actually spending your time, you can find that you can outsource some of that to gain more time to focus on new things like content creation and growing your personal brand online.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It is fascinating when people are like, yeah, we all do it. We use the excuse, I don't have time. But then if you actually did
Yeah.
that kind of time inventory, you see what's
Yes.
important to you. You can find, how many hours are you looking at reels?
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
darn, it's addicting.
Sure is.
Yeah. I really wish you could go in and change. I know you can change the algorithm by how you watch stuff, but if I get another abandoned dog video when I'm waking up in the morning. I mean, my
Oh.
wife turns over some mornings and she's like, "Are you like, what is wrong with you?" I'm like, "I just can't believe people abandon these dogs."
Do you start adopting them? Do you just have like a bunch of dogs at home?
We have like
Always,
13 dogs. Yeah.
another one.
It's pretty crazy. Okay. So walk us back for a second. I love what you said about you have an obligation to share your knowledge. I mean, what an amazing time we live in. I mean, 100 years ago, right? I mean, we know more in a half a day than somebody 100 years ago would know in their lifetime. And so
Yeah.
where does a leader, say I'm a financial advisor, say, I want to help my clients more. Maybe that's a bad example because there's fiduciary stuff. Regardless, you're a chef, you're a, and where can I start with just kind of coming up with ideas about my content? What kind of things should I share?
Well, that's such a great question. There's so many platforms. I mean, I would start by just doing a brainstorming session and outlining all of the frequently asked questions that you get, all of
Ooh.
the services that you offer, all of the pain points or struggles from your customer that is the reason why they come to you. This is sort of the when I owned my first company was a marketing agency, and this was the sort of content strategy that we would put together. So we'd start with their frequently asked questions that they already get. We outline all of the services, and we outline all of the reasons why somebody would need their product or services in the first
Mm.
place as a core. And then you can use different keyword research tools like ahrefs.com or SEMrush or Answer Socrates or Answer the Public. There's YouTube tools like TubeBuddy and vidIQ. And so you can start to type some of these things in here. You can type a service in, you can type a pain point in, and it's going to show you questions that people are searching for online. Part of my philosophy in content creation, especially when working with a service based business, is that social media is a search engine. People are
Mm.
looking for information on social media platforms, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, all of these platforms. It's not just Google. So when you create this sort of evergreen content that is answering a question that they have and is talking about the emotional triggers and pain points that they have, start there. Now, we really live in an amazing time in social media landscape, having seen all of these things. One of the things that TikTok really pioneered, and then of course Instagram stole it, is video responses to comments. And so
Oh.
once you start doing this, once you start creating content, other people are going to start asking follow-up questions. And so what you can do is you can answer all of those questions with a video. This builds trust and rapport online with an audience member. Some random username 453694555 never thought that you as an expert in your space would take the time to personally answer a question online. But it's not just them that have that question. That question is likely resonating with a lot of other target customers that you have. And so you can continue to go down that rabbit hole. The other thing that you can do too, specifically on TikTok, now this is a little like um, not cool. I don't know the best way to do it, like in TikTok culture, but you can go to a competitor's comments. You can look at a top profile in your same niche that's already done all of the work. They're doing all of this. They have hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, millions of followers, whatever. They're likely getting a ton of comments and questions on their videos that they are not responding to. Now you can take those and just create unique content, but specifically on TikTok, you can actually do a video response to someone else's comment on another video, and it
Huh.
links your video in their comment section. So it's kind of sneaky. It's a little like, you're hijacking my audience type of, but like, at the end of the day, you're still helping people. So that's quite a few ways. And if you do this strategy, so like, what we'll typically do with this, all of those tools and all of that outlining, we'll put in a spreadsheet. We'll go like, this is category one, maybe that's FAQs. Category two, maybe these are all of the services. Category three, these are questions that people are asking online. category 4 are comments on your videos or on a competitor's videos. Category 5 is just trends that are going on right now that you can maybe tap into that and add your 2 cents to. And then below each category, outline 10 to 15 different uh, topics or questions associated with that you can find online. When you do this practice, you're going to outline 2-3 months worth of videos,
Wow.
right? Just in that. And then what you can do is systematically go through them. You do this practice for growth. So you can say, Monday, I'm going to do a video or a piece of content from category 1, Tuesday from category 2, Wednesday, category C, and just keep doing this. After about a month or so, if the content's pretty decent, you're going to notice trends. You're going to notice that videos in category 3 are performing exceptionally better than the other categories. Social media is a momentum game. And so when you find the topics and the categories and you that perform exceptionally well, and by doing this systematic approach, you can find that out faster. Go all in on those topics, and you will grow
Ah.
exceptionally faster that way. And you'll get inbound leads, the whole 9 yards. I can talk about a lot of specific examples of this if you want. I did this. We did this strategy for clients over and over again. It works amazingly well when you like systematize like that.
Wow, that is, I mean, that's gold, especially for someone like me who loves those kind of easy systems. You just gave us the blueprint. I mean, that, it takes like, oh my goodness, what do I do? What do I do? And you gave us like a very practical, okay, tomorrow I could do this. So as I'm working on my videos, what's the best platform? Do I just post them on all of them? Do I just pick one?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's going to depend on you and the topic that you create and where your audience is. I'm a big advocate of short form content repurposed across every platform because I'm more general and my content reaches a lot more people. Now, if you're like a mortgage broker and you're trying to get people to get a loan, like, I still would argue you should be everywhere, but there might be platforms that are going to be more rewardful of your time.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep that in mind. Some people are like, all the business people are on LinkedIn, which is not true, but it depends like what type of content that you want to create, how much flexibility and freedom you have to take risks with your content. If you're in a not like a if you're in a very heavily regulated industry and you have to be all buttoned up, like you can't get too crazy in your content. So you have to weigh all of these. But I mean, if you're like this question answer style content, a best practice, like record it vertically, record it less than 90 seconds now. 90 seconds is kind of the median across all platforms. It was 60 seconds, but YouTube just expanded. So 60, 90 seconds, post that same video to every single platform. It doesn't take that much time. You can hire somebody to do this. You can hire a
Hmm.
VA to do this. It's very affordable. You can hire an internal team. I know a lot of the audience here are executives or coaches or whatnot. You can pay somebody to do
Hmm.
this if you don't want to manually do it yourself.
Oh, I love that. Boy, I love that. Okay, let's go. Kind of same thing, but a little different for some of our listeners. I think this is going to be like, what? Talk to us about this. I mean, kind of this new direction of kind of the faceless videos, and creating this type of content.
Yeah, so I created my company Syllabi based on 11 years of working in video marketing, creating video content for companies. There's a lot of different struggles and problems that people face. At a highest level, specifically for Faceless, a lot of people just don't want their face on camera for whatever reason. You feel self-conscious, you're not ready, you don't want
I
the
hear you.
judgment, you don't want the trolls online, you had a bad hair day, you have a zit on your face, all of these stupid reasons to procrastinate, which is dumb. First of all, get out of your own way. But I wanted to, like, we're our own worst critics. I wanted to eliminate every excuse that anybody could have to not create videos
Mm.
successfully on. And so what a faceless video is a video without a face, if you just think about it, right? And so there's different styles of faceless video. There are uh, so typically in a faceless video, there's audio. There's an audio track. Maybe it's a recording or it's a script. There's often subtitles on the screen. Maybe there's background music. But the actual visual element is either B-roll that's similar to what the audio and script is about, and matches that to kind of tell a story. Or how we do it at Syllabi is AI generated imagery and videos. And so how we do it is you can type in any topic, how to get a home loan, and it'll write you an entire video script. And then it takes a sentence at a time out of that script and it creates a unique AI generated image specific to that script. So everything that is generated is completely unique and 100% new for you.
Wow.
And it stitches all of it together. So what it does is it creates all of these images and it animates everything together into a seamless video. But what we just rolled out this past week is the ability to animate those images now. And so now it's AI motion. Like people have heard of Sora. It's kind of like that. Sora they never released it yet, but it's AI generated movement and scenes that are completely unique based on whatever script that you type in. So the crazy thing here is you can create, schedule, and publish up to 30 days of videos on any topic in your niche in less than 10 minutes in Syllabi. I mean, we built a freaking machine. This
Wow.
thing is insanity. It's kind of hard to believe how far it's come. But we have like a search engine in there. Like I took all of the best practices that I've said so far and I turned it into a software that's surprisingly affordable. Because I'm not greedy here. I just want everybody to have success with video. And I wanted to eliminate every single excuse that you could possibly come up with. You don't have
Wow.
time. You can spend 10 minutes to schedule a month's worth of videos every single day. Come on. There's no time. It costs $25 a month. Like to create a month's worth of targeted content in your industry that will generate leads.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it also work if say if I do talking head video and
Mhm.
can it, slap stuff in there too, like
Yeah. So we again, like I wanted you to create, that's just like our sort of flagship
yeah.
offering. I want it in Syllabi, like my vision for it is the best video marketing tool on the internet. And
Wow.
so I don't dictate how you create videos. I just want to make it really easy for you to create videos. So we have the faceless component. We have AI avatar, so you can create a deep fake of yourself. Only you have access to it. I'm very much on the side of moral and ethical AI, which is kind of the Wild West right now. But only you have access to your real clone, and you can clone your voice as well. But we also built a custom video editor from scratch. So there's a lot of people that just use Syllabi to find topic ideas, write scripts. They actually record the video themselves. You can load it into our video editor and edit the video and add B-roll and text and add your logo, all this stuff, and then you can schedule and publish it to all of your social media from right there.
Wow.
So yeah, really three different ways that you can create videos in Syllabi right now: faceless, avatars, your own video.
Wow. So of the different platforms, when you think about okay, monetizing all of this kind of stuff, what level do you have to get to? Because I think some of the common misconception probably are people are like, yeah, it's great for Austin. He's got 1 million people. That's probably when Facebook, but that's really not true. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
You could start earning money at different levels.
Absolutely. I think when people hear monetization, I hear this all the time, they immediately go to ad revenue from the videos. That should be the last thing that you focus on. Just let the ad revenue be the fun money that comes in. You're not relying on it. These platforms can take it away. They can demonetize you immediately. And it's wildly inconsistent month to month based on holidays and all of these variables. So don't rely on ad revenue. you build a business around the content that you create. You probably
Oof.
already have a business. That's the most important thing to think about here. And there's so many different ways that you can do this. An example I love is when I'm an expert in addiction treatment marketing, which is very random, but that was my career
Interesting.
path. Yeah, I've worked in my business partner and mentor is a clinical psychologist, and so I just kind of went down that path and became a well-known in that space expert in social media marketing for addiction treatment. And so when I first started my agency, less than I think I had about 700 subscribers on my YouTube channel, but those videos were so highly targeted around how to get admissions, how everything about digital marketing and social media strategies for the addiction treatment industry. Those videos are not going to go viral. Those videos get, maybe tens to hundreds of views, maybe 1,000 plus if you're, but I got a $15,000 consulting contract from a video that had like 200 views on it. I've
Wow.
got multiple clients paying $5,000 to $15,000 a month from content that just are highly, highly targeted. You do not need that many followers. You just need the right followers with the right message, and that's what you should focus on monetization. You can be so successful. I mean, the real estate industry is so well known for this. Lawyers, doctors. I mean, if you just create highly specific content, you stand above all of the other professionals in your industry because so many industries are not creating content. Now, real estate agents are getting flooded with, you've got competition in the real estate space. I'm very plugged in that community too. But um, most professional industries are not regularly creating content. And if you just commit to it and you apply some of these strategies, you are going to get business. I promise you.
Wow. That's just absolutely incredible. Uh, uh, so walk us through, I'm starting out tomorrow. Should I learn how to do some of this stuff on my own? Should I, hop on one of the, try to find somebody to help me? Is it as easy as just talking to my camera? Like, give us that kind of practical 1, 2, 3.
Perfectionism is procrastination.
Oh,
So you don't think everybody thinks they need to do everything perfectly. They need the perfect setup. They need to have all the knowledge in the world. They have all this. Blah, blah, blah. You don't. Most, I have 3 million followers. I create content on selfie mode on my phone, and I have a $15 ring light over here, and I edit everything on my phone. I don't have a big setup. I've been doing it a while, but everything that I've created 5,000 videos personally on phones over the last 6 years. You don't need that much. You just need
wow.
to press record and learn.
Wow.
Study your last video and make micro improvements. Like, I love going to conferences. I love learning from amazing speakers. That's how we got connected. I love just sitting in the audience and networking with people. The all of us got, down by the pool bar. We got dinner and drinks
Yep.
down there. Like, those are the conversations. Like, I love learning from people that way. Constantly learn, reading books, listening to podcasts. All of this stuff. Just take that knowledge and apply it. You can hire. I've hired coaches. I've hired consultants. I've invested in myself and my growth. But you don't have to do all that stuff to just get started. Just get started and improve
Right.
along the way.
Right.
Nobody's going to watch your videos at the beginning anyway. So just get those reps in.
Right. Okay. So, well, boy, 14 years old, you're on MySpace.
Not-
And you're
You're
you're doing all the things. What happened? When was it? Take us back in time for a second. When you got to the first really bad troll, the person that was, you're like, what the H? Like, why is this? And maybe you've never had a really bad troll, but I know for some people they're like, you know, that kind of
no,
holds them back. With the dumb comments or the, some of those kind of things. Walk us through how you kind of, walked through all that kind of stuff.
that's a good question. Nothing comes to mind for a troll that really impacted me.
Mm,
I've become so used to it that I actually troll the trolls as a big part of my content strategy. Uh, I can get into that. That's a whole engagement bait thing. Like when you get to higher levels of social media, like there's a psychology that you can include in your content to just drastically increase everything. But um, where my mind is going is that the biggest criticisms were coming from my personal life, not online.
Mm,
So like when I was on, like, taking it all the way back to MySpace, um, and even like on Facebook and stuff, right? You connect with your friends and family on there. And when you start to post, the people that the biggest critics are the ones that aren't doing anything themselves. And so
wow.
I would start posting a lot, and I was gaining a bunch of traction, and I would have people like friends and schoolmates and all this stuff like kind of making fun of me. Be like, this is, like, your posts are really annoying. This is stupid. Why are you doing this? Like all that negative
Yep.
bullshit. Like even,
Yep.
there were things at the time that even like my parents are like, this is weird. What do you like? Is this illegal? Like, what are you like? Stuff like that. And so when you can get past that judgment in your personal life, because there's definitely like a difference of online anonymity keyboard warriors versus people in your real life criticizing you. If you can just become numb to them or have empathy for them, like I love this from Gary Vee, a troll online is almost never a personal attack. It's more of a personal insecurity.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
So because they don't know you, there's no connection there, right? So like if they make fun of you or something, they're just being it's like it's nothing against you. Just have empathy for that person. Like I feel sorry that you took the time to say a hateful thing online. Like I am not in that place. I am in a better place as a human. And so, I have my lapses, and I partake in some internet trolling from time to time, but never anything hateful. But um, just have empathy for those people. Trolls are inevitable, and that's why I love trolling the trolls. But yeah, nothing really like from an online comment has stuck out for me.
Boy, I love that. I love that. What about the people who do decide with their they do decide to be the crazy shock factor people? Like cuz they're out there, it's like everything they say is either laced with hate, laced with fear.
Yeah,
For me it's with speak with people, our whole thing is to speak with people, not at them. And so we're constantly trying to challenge people. Stop being an at hole. Like you don't have to communicate out of fear and control and aggressiveness and manipulation to connect with someone. It just you don't have to do that. But people decide that and their views show it, right? Like people, you know, love that. So maybe there's someone here who's starting to walk down that path, you know, give them your wisdom as they're kind of thinking through, going to that path.
I mean, just spread joy and positivity in the world. Don't be a hateful person.
Yeah, yeah,
but, that's, but that's just me. I mean, but the other reality, and I recognize this, is like to be president of the United States, you have to have half the country hate you. And
right.
if you're too middle of the road on anything, um, there's another quote: if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Um,
Yep.
it's sometimes important to take a stance one way or the other. Of course, we
Yeah.
don't live in a black world; we live in a gray world. So but you won't be taken seriously if you're just too go with the flow and too middle of the road, right? Like it's okay to take stances. It's
Yeah.
okay to put your foot in the ground and say this is what I believe in, but don't do it in a hateful way.
Right. Are there any
Have under
topics?
good.
Are there any topics that you do try to steer? You just steer it like, you know what? Those are
Yeah,
divisive enough. I'm going to steer clear of those. Or is
yeah.
everything on the table
No
for you?
politics for sure. I don't touch politics at all. I yeah, I believe we can all get along, and even that is a controversial statement for whatever reason. I think we can separate our political beliefs and still be friends, and still be have business relationships with one another, and still be good people. And that's in and of it. That's what I believe, but that's a controversial statement in and of itself, right there. But I don't touch anything political. Don't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, I love it. So, if you could go back in time, there are parents listening, and Gen Z. I mean, it's an amazing generation. They are pure digital natives. They know
Yep.
nothing about They know nothing about not having this on you all the time. They get answers as soon as they want. They share
Mm-hmm.
everything, their emotions online. They don't know anything else. So if you could go back in time to your parents, 14-year-old you, would you encourage them, hey, put more limits on my online time? Or did your parents, we got parents listening and we're all trying to figure it out. I've got one friend who's like, it's the way of the future. So people kids have to learn how to process it. Are you on the side that's like, oh goodness, I would, recommend, giving them some limits? Love your thoughts on that.
So I'll start by saying I am not a parent. So take this advice. And I was a brat, and I was an intelligent little kid. Too smart for my parents split early, and my mom raised us. And so my mom is not tech savvy, and so she was so. I probably do think there should be some limitations. There should, depending on the age of your child, like, put on some parental blocks, and, monitor to an extent what your kids are doing, because there's a lot of creeps out there for sure. Um, maybe limit time on screen, or set some of these settings in place. Like, I am full blown addicted, and I just justify that by growing businesses and supporting people and making a lot of money, being a member of productive member of society.
That's right.
Uh, I mean, at an early age, my mom would put uh, passwords on my computer, which I figured out immediately. Uh, I She wouldn't let me. I had a computer in my room, and that I was on that thing constantly. She wouldn't let me watch R-rated movies, but I figured out how to torrent even before LiveWire. Or I was really easy torrenter, so I was downloading R-rated movies at 9, 10 years old, and I just didn't
Jeez.
tell. And I figured that out. And so I'm not even like first generation. I remember life before having a computer in my household. I'm
Right.
34. They existed, but we didn't have one in our house. These kids are even smarter. And so they're smarter than you think you are. I mean, there's all these stories of, people like blocking TikTok on their kid's phone, but then later finding out that they're using TikTok on the smart fridge because it has internet access.
Wow.
I mean, we would go to the public library, and we just learned what proxy servers are, and we would, like libraries and public spaces, like block certain URLs or companies or whatnot, right? Well, we figured out you just use a proxy server, and then you can still access that. So we were just really smart, tech savvy assholes, and we just didn't. Like, I'm a boy. Like, I just didn't tell anybody anything. We just did it.
Yep. Yep.
So, like, I say that because your kids are doing it, whether you think they are or not. So.
Right. I love that. No, and that's why I wanted to ask you from your perspective, because you have such a unique perspective. You know the internal world of it, because so many of us parents on the outside are going, "Oh, we really don't know." That's great. It's great to ask an expert, to just go, "Yeah, my 10-year-old, he would live on his iPad if we, allowed him to." And he's got autism, so for whatever reason, with his autism, that he just connects in a way with Minecraft and Roblox, that's
Mhm.
it's profound. And the way that
Yeah.
sometimes we take it for granted because he's not very verbal with his communication, but the way he communicates with that iPad, it's powerful. And so I'm trying to learn that
Yeah.
balance.
So like, I'm not a. Let me, maybe turn that around on you. I'm not a parent. I don't have kids, right? But like, I recognize, like, my nephew is autistic on the spectrum. And I see that like there's definitely judgment on the parent that gives the laptop when they go, or the tablet when they go out to a restaurant, right? And so that's not always the easiest thing. Like if you have a child on the spectrum, it's hard to control that kid.
Right.
They're throwing stuff around. They've got like I had great ADHD growing up. They're
Yep.
they're crying, they're screaming, they don't care about the surrounding area, right? And you as a parent just want to have quiet time with everybody, right? But that's not. Sometimes the iPad is the only solution for them, unless there's some other thing that you can do. And so like there's different things that you can do on that iPad to be more productive with them, right? There are
Yeah.
educational games. You don't have to just be like go on YouTube and watch crap. I would argue that Minecraft is good. I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
There's building, there's reasoning and logic and uh, bartering and trading and all kinds of different things that have real life applications. And so just giving your kid the iPad is not necessarily a bad thing, but how you give your
Yep.
kid the iPad uh, can probably be improved. You can put an educational game in front of them or, something like. What are your thoughts on that, actually, out of curiosity?
Well, I would agree 100%. I am from the standpoint of a parent, the parents who, and I worked with teenagers for a long, long time. So the parents who always tried to control everything, who tried to set every boundary, everything, and were so hard with it, just like your story. Those kids got around it all, and the moment they could, they went to the deep end of trying all the stuff that their parents tried to keep them through. So I think
No.
it's you got to establish, okay, hey, there's this trust. Here's the boundaries that we want to stick around, but we want to be able, for you to experience these things. So with our son Kai, at 10, we do have some times where, okay, hey, we're going to put the iPad away for a while, but we stopped looking at it as an enemy. It was funny. We were a couple summers ago, I was speaking at a bunch of teenager camps, and we were in Wisconsin somewhere, and his iPad broke. And uh, I mean, that poor little guy, the only emotion he shows is typically anger when, he's got to plug it in, or he's frustrated with something. I thought he was going to cry. Like he referred to his iPad as his buddy,
Well,
so I think parents, yeah, you just got to find that balance, and you can't fight
yeah.
it. It is the future. It's here we are, and it's a great tool. And so my 20-year-old you met, just got
Mhm.
offered a full-time job because he dove into taking exceptional videos and editing them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
use it. I blew through our time here. I want to honor your time. You have been incredible. So I just want to ask you one last question. When it comes to rest, you talked about being kind of a self-described, media addict. I'd probably put myself in the same category. I do recognize my brain does need time, to rest. What does that look like for you? Is it, occasional? Do you try to put it in a normal rhythm of your day? Are there certain exercises you do that, try to do that? I just love your perspective on that.
Yeah, I've trained Muay Thai for 15 years. I still do. So Muay Thai allows me to focus on one thing because I have a very ADHD brain.
Mm,
Uh, Muay Thai forces me to focus on one thing for an hour or 2 hours or whatever. And so I just love that, like hyper focused. I've always done martial arts, but yeah, I really fell in love with Muay Thai specifically. Um, and then like I love going to the movie theater with my
mm,
wife. I love playing with my dog outside. Every night we just like decompress and watch TV before going to
yep.
bed. You know, stuff like that. I try to meditate in the morning before starting my day. Uh, yeah, that's a lot of
I love it.
that's stuff. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you some rapid fire questions. We're building this
Sure.
online communication skills library. Listeners, you can go access this. It has all of our this episode will be 191 guests worth of their best books, speakers, podcasts. So for you, is there a speaker that every time you hear the speaker, you're just like, Holy shit. Like, this is amazing. They fill my bucket. They fill my cup. I got to recommend this person to somebody because, they've made that much of an impact in my life.
Gary V comes to
Yep.
mind.
Yep. I love it. Is there a podcast, if you're a podcast listener, either guilty pleasure or development that you're like, I just keep coming back to, and I try to forward it on to people?
There's so many. Can I answer multiple? Can I answer, or do
Yeah.
you
Give
just
me a
want
couple.
one?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, the social media marketing podcast, Mike Stelzner, I listen to probably hundreds of episodes of that show. I've learned so much. I've been on that show now. That was a great moment.
Mm,
Um, How I Built This with Guy Raz. Love
yes.
that. Absolutely love that show. Um, the SaaS podcast with Omer Khan. Uh, when I was starting Syllabi, I just started to binge that show of how to grow a SaaS company. Love that. Those are the ones that come to mind.
I love that. And then lastly, is there a book? You're about to get
Yeah.
shipwrecked on a desert island. Make sure you read this book. Make sure you take this book.
Well, if I'm shipwrecked on a desert island, I'm not reading a business book. So probably the Alchemist. I
Mm,
love the Alchemist. I also love Siddhartha in that same vein. I mean, that's a very short book, but The Alchemist is my all time favorite book. I come back to it every couple of years. I love that book so much.
I love that. Well, where can we send our listeners to find out more about you, about your company, about how they can engage with all of that?
Yeah, if you want to check out my company, Syllabi, it's Syllaby.io. My personal brand website is austinarmstrong.ai. I am very available. I'm active on every social media platform. If you search Austin Armstrong, I am the nerdy glasses Austin Armstrong. I am not the good looking LA relationship influencer Austin Armstrong. Nor am I the defensive lineman coach of Florida Gators, Austin Armstrong. There's three of us who have been trying to organize a collaboration. They keep leaving me on red, but
I love that. I guess my other question is, when is your book going to come out? Because I'm seeing
uh,
like a book called No Like Trust. I mean, I don't know, something like this is
I
great
have
material.
one out. Yeah, I have a book outlined. It'll be on short form video strategies and how to monetize it.
I love
Uh, yeah, hopefully 2025. It's just one of those things that I procrastinate, but I have so many things on my plate, and I just have a bad habit of adding more things.
I get
Uh,
it. I get it.
yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Well, I cannot thank you enough. You are a gift, and you freely share your wisdom. And I know our listeners will love this. I can't thank you enough for your time, and just so appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason. I appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to the Speak with People podcast, where we believe that healthy communication is the key to unlocking your leadership potential. Thank you for leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And thank you for every like and every comment. Every single time you cut and copy a link and send it to a coworker or a friend, it absolutely means the world, and it helps each other transform our communication skills. Lastly, don't forget about a great resource that's available to you: our communication skills library. At the end of every episode, we ask each guest their favorite speaker, their favorite podcast, their favorite book, and we've compiled all of those resources together to give you an amazing library to continue your growth and development. Thank you again for being a listener and for being a part of the Speak with People community.